December 30th at about 1 o'clock, we got dispatched to a location on Barndale Street for a baby not breathing. And upon entering the location, there was a baby unresponsive laying on the kitchen table. There was somebody trying to wake the baby up there. It was immediately apparent that the baby was not breathing, and there was no pulse. So we immediately started CPR, and Jennifer actually knows the family, and I was kind of taken back that they were talking to her about and saying Jennifer, and I was trying to put it together, and turned out she actually knew the family and knew the child.
I saw him laying on the table gasping for air, and I didn't know what happened or anything, and then I later found out that he had put a piece of the back of an envelope in his mouth, and they tried to get it out, and he inhaled it instead of swallowing it, and then it collapsed his lung, and on the way to the hospital he went into cardiac arrest, and they couldn't get a pulse for 25 minutes, so he was without oxygen all that time, except for the CPR part of it. And from there they flew Children's Hospital doctors up to stabilize him, and then they flew him right away down there, put him on life support for almost a month, and then they started weaning him off of it, and then they just started rehab. So he just got him May 1st from December 30th.
You're kissing me.
Everything was like a chain reaction, and we were just a small part of the chain. And there was one point where Officer Field even said, "I'm going to have to tell my friends that their baby's dead." And because she believed, even at the hospital, when they were still, actively working on the baby and doing CPR, that even we believed in our heart. We didn't want to believe it, but even we believed in our heart that the baby wasn't going to live. And if he did live, that it was going to be only for a short period of time.
Hey, biggie boy.
When I heard cardiac arrest, I thought for sure he was going to die, because, what's the chances of him coming out of that for 25 minutes? And they kept coming back into the room and telling me, they still can't get a pulse, and they still can't do this, and they still can't do that. But I prayed a lot, and that's all I could do.
And every day, Officer Field would text me, the status of the baby, and back and forth, and I was like waiting for the other shoe to drop, basically, that her to say that he took a turn for the worse and passed away, and it never happened. It just never happened. And then we got invited to the welcome home party for the baby, and it was just unbelievable. It was unbelievable to see him alive and kicking, and to look into his eyes with life in them compared to what we had at the house. It was emotional. It was really rewarding to see the people smiling and celebrating rather than attending a funeral.
Most doctors just say his book's being written, so they won't even test a lot of his functions, because every day it changes. He has to have a feeding tube where all his medicines and the food goes. He's on a strictly liquid diet. Part of the brain that was affected most, they say, is his motor functions. So even though he moves his arms and stuff, like the grasping and the opening and closing of the hands and stuff like that, he's not good at that. He was walking Christmas Day, which put him at 8 months old exactly. Now he don't have the upper body strength, so if you hold him upright, he moves his legs like he's walking. So at least he knows that, but he just don't have the strength yet to do it. He might not be exactly the way he was or exactly perfect, but as close as I think someone, considering he went through all that with pneumonia and everything, I think he'll do okay. I feel like before, because I wasn't expected to ever have kids or anything like that, it was kind of like I was doing what I had to do. You know, I worked and I made sure he had what he needed, but I wasn't necessarily like the whole loving, caring, pick him up. You know, I was, like I said, did what I had to do, and now it's like, it's a different bond. You know, I spent every night for 4 months with him, and, you know, he never could care less if I came in the room before. Now he doesn't want me to leave, and vice versa. You know, I'm used to having him, and I'm afraid to let him sleep alone because I don't know about his heart or anything, so I literally sleep holding him every night, and then I go to work and someone else takes over. So it's definitely made our relationship stronger. It's made my relationship with God stronger too, because, you know, there's only so much the doctors can do, and I just prayed that he would guide them. You know, they were very forward with the fact that they didn't expect much from him. You know, they didn't even know if after the life support, if his brain would tell him to breathe, and everything just kind of fell into place with the first, like the captain wasn't even supposed to be on duty that day and stuff like that.
It's a blessing to see, you know, that the baby is fine today. I mean, he has some recovery, but it's a celebration.